Most million-dollar app ideas don't start off with a huge budget. They start off with the right strategy. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the secret method that top founders use to go from an app idea into a profitable app. So by the end of this video, you know exactly how to build and launch your MVP the smart way. Let's dive straight in. So the first step in this process is what I like to call defining your vision. So what I mean by defining your vision is that we need to answer two of the most important questions even before you start to write a single line of code or even design the UX UI designs of the app. And these two questions are, what problem does my app solve? And number two, is there a target market in demand for my app? If you can't answer these two questions, what ends up happening is that you spend months and even years building an app that nobody wants, or you have no idea of who the target market is that you're targeting for this app. So what ends up happening is that you end up burning time and money building something that nobody wants, or that you have no idea who to market to. And this is a really big problem. And it's really important that you answer these two questions even before you start to do anything in regards to design and implementation. And the way that you can overcome this is two ways. Firstly, you can look at the competitors and see, what are they doing right, what are they doing wrong, and also what can you engineer as a value SKU to improve the competitors out of the market for your own app idea in order to take the market share of users away from those competitors as well. What you can do for this as well is that you can also look at the Apple App Store reviews and the Google Play Store reviews of these competitor apps, and actually look at their 3-star reviews, look at their 2-star reviews, and see what are they doing right, but also what are they doing wrong. Like, what can be improved on their side that we can utilize in our own app, and also engineer what we call a value SKU, as MJ talks about in his two books, The Millionaire Fastlane and his other book Unscripted as well, which are two really good books which I really recommend as well in terms of entrepreneurship as well. So you guys need to ask yourselves how can I add more value, and how can I create a better app than these competitors out there on the market, and even if there is a competition out in the market, because if there is competition out in the market, that means your app idea is somewhat valid. And the second way to validate your app idea is to actually create a landing page for your website, and actually have a landing page actually talking about your website, actually talk about the features and the benefits of your app, and actually start talking to some early adopters and users who might be interested in your app. You can also run paid traffic towards this landing page with Facebook ads, YouTube ads, and maybe even Google ads as well, or TikTok ads if you're targeting a younger demographic, and build up an email list of people who are actually interested in your app idea and who might be early users and early adopters of your app as well, so that we're not praying and hoping for the best, and also we're not doing this thing where we think we build it and they will come. It doesn't work like that in 2025 and beyond nowadays. It's really important that you start marketing your app from day one in order to validate your idea and also build some traction when you're developing your app, so that when you do launch your app, you do have a list of users and a list of people on your list who are keen to actually test out and try your app and actually give you the feedback in regards to your app as well. So the second step in this process is what we like to call developing and integrating the core features. So when we start to build out your MVP, also known as the minimal viable product, we need to understand what are the most important features that users want, and also that they want implemented in our MVP. What are the must-have features for our MVP to be successful, and also what are some nice-to-have features and maybe some features that we would implement in the future as well. Because when we're building an MVP, it's really important that we get the minimal amount of things that are required to make the MVP successful. Because if we try to add in too many features at the same time, what ends up happening is that the users who are initially going to be testing out your MVP, they might get overwhelmed and they might not end up liking the MVP in the end, and that might end up costing us a lot more time and effort in the long run as well. And when we're developing and integrating the core features as well, we also need to understand, what is the game plan in terms of, the development timelines and also the tech stack that you're planning to use for the MVP as well. Will your app only be released on the Android platform? Will your app only be released on the iOS platform, or both? Are you planning to use a cross-platform solution in order to develop your app? Will your app require integration with an embedded device, or include, like say for example, an IoT device or a wearable device? These are some questions that you guys need to answer as well when you're developing and integrating an MVP as well. And another question that you guys need to ask yourselves, especially when you're bringing an MVP to life, is, are we going to hire an in-house developer that I'm going to bring in onto the team? Or am I going to outsource my app development offshore on Upwork or freelancer.com, even though there's going to be a bunch of headaches involved in outsourcing my app offshore? Or am I going to hire an expensive app development agency in the same city to try and bring my MVP to life, even though it might cost an arm and a leg? These are some very important questions, especially when you're considering time and money are involved in building an MVP. So it's really important that you make the correct decision in regards to who's going to help bring your MVP to life, and also the tech stack and all that, and what features that you want implemented when you're in the stage 2 of developing and integrating your app idea. Now, before we start talking about the next thing in today's video, if you need any help in regards to bringing your app idea to life, what I would like for you guys to do is to click on the link below to book a call with me, and let's see how I can help you out in regards to bringing your app vision to life and see whether we're the right fit as well. So the next step in our process is what we call testing and launching. So before we launch our app onto the app stores, including the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, is that what we need to do is that we need to conduct rigorous QA testing for our app before we launch it out onto these platforms. Because if we don't conduct QA testing for our app prior to launching, what ends up happening is that we launch an app that could be full of bugs and full of crashes for the end users. And if the users are experiencing a buggy app full of bugs and crashes for our app, what ends up happening is that they're going to be leaving a lot of negative reviews towards our app. And launching an app with a lot of bugs and crashes for the users that the users are going to hate is going to end up leaving a sour taste in regards to the user experience for the app, and also put the app name and brand in a bad position at the start. Nobody wants to launch an app or a brand or a company and it's full of problems at the start. So we obviously want to avoid a minimal amount of bugs and crashes which are being deployed out there on the App Store live. So the way that we do this is that obviously prior to launching, we obviously have a massive list of all the features and guidelines that we need to test for our app, that we need to test manually, which is what we call regression testing for our app. This is something that I used to use for every single app that I worked on when I was working with clients, and also in the corporate world as well. Every single time that we would have a launch, the whole team would test every single feature and guideline for our app, and also the embedded software as well prior to launching, so we don't miss anything, so that the users can have a great experience, when it's launched out onto the market. And that's why it is so important to conduct QA testing and regression testing for your app before it's launched out onto the market, so the users can have a great experience when they're using that app out in the real world and everything like that. And also the second thing is, when you're launching your app as well, during this testing and launching phases, make sure that you've been building up your list of users, like an email list of people who are actually interested in your app and who can actually give you some feedback, both positive and negative, in regards to your app as well. And also, don't be afraid to run some ads, create some content, and market yourself out there, because we don't want to be launching your app to crickets, and that's really a big gamble, and that's what we really don't want when it comes to testing and launching your app as well. It's really important to build up that solid of users who are interested in your app as well. And the final step is delivering your MVP and gathering feedback. So now that you've completed the prior steps of validating your app idea, designing and implementing your MVP, and testing and launching it, now this final step involves delivering your MVP out into the marketplace and actually getting the feedback from users. What do they like of the MVP? What do they don't like of the MVP? Actually have a one-on-one conversation, with the users to see, the likes and dislikes, what's great about your MVP, what's bad about your MVP, and also possibly, what features could we possibly add to this MVP to improve it even more after this first version as well, and also maybe what core features could we possibly remove from this MVP to also improve it as well. Take the feedback, as it's so critical, as these early adopters are likely could be your first paying customers for your app as well, if you decide to go down that route as well. And also, don't forget about the 80-20 rule, the 80-20 Pareto principle rule, where, fix 20% of the issues which 80% of the users are using. That is also such a key indicator that you can use in regards to improving your MVP as well. So if you've done all the steps, you validated your app idea and everything, there is a dedicated target market who are willing to pay for your app, and you think you can make the big bucks for it and all that, maybe it's time to bootstrap your app by the savings that you have, or maybe going to investors potentially as well if you want to go down that route, or maybe even doing a crowdfunding campaign as well for your app idea as well, if you've validated your app idea and there is a strong demand and need for your app, and it's validated and everything like that, then go ahead, full steam ahead and all that. Just don't be that guy that that's going to spend months and maybe even years building something that nobody wants because they didn't validate their app idea and they had no idea what their target market was. That's the biggest mistake that I don't want you guys to make. Hence, you've been watching this video today on how to create your $1 million app idea and bring it to reality that users will love and that is actually valid as well. So this is the 4-step method in order to create your $1 million app idea and to bring it to life successfully. So if you guys need any help in regards to bringing your app idea to life and you need help doing so, what I would like for you guys to do is to click on the link below to book in a free call with me, and let's see how I can help you out. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and if this video has helped you out a lot, don't forget to smash the like button down below and also subscribe for the latest videos on this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.